All right, let's continue onward. So now we're looking at the blue sheet. So we've reviewed 5 different types of transformations. You can use your notes packet that we just covered to help you with this. So there are 3 transformations that modify A. And those would of course be a stretch, a compression, and a reflection. There's only one that modifies H, and that's a horizontal translation. And there's only one that modifies K, and that's a vertical translation. So for example, let's shift the parent function 2 units up, 5 units right, stretch the parabola by a factor of 3 and reflect it across the x-axis. Okay, so we have 4 different transformations going on here. The first is a vertical shift of 2. It's 2 units up. So vertical translation modifies K. Vertical translation modifies K. So K is going to be equal to 2. It's going to be positive 2 because you're shifting up. We have a horizontal translation, which is going to modify H. 5 units to the right is going to be positive 5. So we are going to write positive 5. Stretch the parabola by a factor of 3. That's going to be A. So A is going to be 3 temporarily. I'd recommend doing this in pencil because this might change. And we reflect it across the x-axis. Now, if you recall, a reflection makes A negative. So A is going to be negative 3. And finally, you write the equation of the quadratic in vertex form, which is going to be, if you look at your notes here, this by default is ax minus h squared plus k, but that's not what I'm looking for, with the y equals at the front. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this with these a, h, and k values, which is y equals negative 3 x minus 5 squared plus 2. This is what I'm looking for. Now note here, this is an x minus 5 because the formula says x minus h. So if this were negative 5, in other words, if I were shifting left, this would be x plus 5. If you have x plus a number, it's a shift left, and if it's x minus a number, it's a shift right. This is very unintuitive, which is why I'm pointing it out right now. That just has to do with the fact that it's being squared. So I'd like you to flip to the back. I'm not going to tell you the full answer for this one. I'd like you to do 2 and 3 on your own. However, I will point out that this one only has a shift to the right and a compression. So there's no vertical translation. Because of this, because the graph is not being shifted up or down, k is going to be 0. So if one of these isn't modified, then, it's different for each one. If h is not modified, it's 0. If k is not modified, it's 0. If a is not modified, in other words, if there's no stretch, compression, or reflection, it's just 1. All right, I'd like you to do 2 and 3 on your own, and then there's an activity on students.desmos.com. And I will post the key to this in about 15 minutes or so.